So earlier this week, I had a luncheon and a conversation with a Center for Spiritual Living minister. And Centers for Spiritual Living is one of our sister organizations. It's part of the New Thought movement. It used to be called Religious Science. Mile High Church is a Center for Spiritual Living. So we were having a conversation, and we were talking about the nuns and the duns. The nuns being those people who identify with no organized religion. They've never had or they don't have an affiliation with organized religion. Maybe they didn't grow up in that or they just chosen not to. The duns are the people who are just done with it. Over it. Been there, done that. For whatever reason. And it's a growing segment of the population in the United States. In fact, in the past 4 years, since Pew Research does some study on that, and since 2012, they did a recent survey, and that number has grown by 7.5 million people. The nuns and the duns. For various reasons. People are done with church, or they don't want to have anything to do with organized religion. And so what we're talking about is that these are a lot of the people who say, well, I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious. How many of you identify with that? I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious. And so we thought, he was saying, well, and these are our people. These are our people. We should be attracting these people. Why aren't they flocking to our churches? Why aren't they flocking to our churches? And I thought, yeah, man, they should be flocking to our churches. I'm with you. They don't know we exist. That could be a good reason. They don't know we exist. But why are the nuns and the duns such a growing segment of the population is what I thought. You know, after we had the conversation, man, I was on board with that. I was like, yeah, man, they need to be coming to our churches. Our service needs to be packed, standing room only, because we've got the message they're looking for, right? Well, obviously not. Because they aren't here, right? And so what is that? Why are there so many nuns and so many duns? What are they looking for? And why are they done with church? Well, they've asked more questions about that in some of the recent surveys. And what they found is that so many people believe that church, organized religion, is more about money and power than it is about really helping people in their lives. That it's about us. That it's about the church maintaining its power, about the church, we want you to give us all your money so we can maintain our status, right? Many people believe that. And part of it too is that they don't trust the church. They don't trust us to be telling them the truth. Why is that? And so as I pondered that, I thought, well, are we being really honest? Are we really being in integrity? Even in our unity or New Thought movement. How are we really being? What are we teaching? And the other thing we talked about in our luncheon was, you know, that the whole prosperity teaching began with New Thought. The whole prosperity teaching as we know it began with New Thought. Actually, that it began with Emma Curtis Hopkins, who was a teacher of teachers. She taught the Fillmores, she taught Ernest Holmes, she taught Nona Brooks, and somebody help me. Mary Baker Eddy. No, Mary Baker Eddy taught her, actually. But the founders of Divine Science, Unity, the founders of Religious Science, and other New Thought movements, she was the teacher of teachers. And so this whole idea of prosperity really sort of began with the Unity movement, with the New Thought movement. It kind of grew out of the idea that New Thought sort of grew out of the idea of the power of the mind, right? The power of the mind to heal. They didn't understand the science of it at the time, but they knew that we had the power within us to heal our bodies. One of the co-founders of Unity, Myrtle Fillmore, experienced a healing, a physical healing through the power of prayer and meditation and healing her body, and she took action to do it as well. So Unity is founded on that idea, and the idea then grew, right? If I can heal my body through my mind, then obviously I can do other things with the power of my mind. I can create a job. I can create a parking space, for God's sake, right? I can have the perfect relationship. I can have all the money I want. And so our teaching sort of has embraced this idea. Nothing wrong with this idea. And I think it's important for us to really be in integrity with ourselves and with the people that we're teaching. Because I think sometimes, and I'm not saying all the time, but I think sometimes we get caught up in this idea that sounds like and looks like magical thinking. Right? That if I just do enough thinking, visualizing, or enough prayer work, that I can do anything. And I'm not saying that is not true. Really, I'm not saying that is not true. But are we really being in integrity with the deeper truth of that? I would say, yes, that's true, and there's a deeper truth to that. We teach from this idea that, like The Secret, that teaches, we can create what we want, we can feel it, we can sense it, we can see it, and then it happens. And I don't think that's really fair all the time. I think there's something deeper. And I think that we have gotten lost. We have gotten too far focusing on the outer. Unity is one of the New Thought movement that sticks more to the Bible and the teachings of Jesus than some of the others. And so what we teach, we really try to look at, what did Jesus teach about this? What did Jesus teach about this? What did Jesus teach about this? Jesus taught, give no thought. Jesus taught, don't worry. Don't think about the stuff out here. What did he say? Everybody can tell, almost anybody in here can tell me, what did he say? Perfect. That's great teaching, right? Consider the lilies of the field. They toil not. Consider the birds of the air. Does your Father not care more about you than he cares about them? He also said, seek the kingdom. He said, seek the kingdom. What is the kingdom? Kingdom is that consciousness of the all-providing source that is within us. The all-providing source of which you and I are expressions. And so, what I think about prosperity, well, it's a lot I think about prosperity. It can be somewhat complex. Because yes, I have to focus on taking care of my body. I have to focus on having food. I do have to do things. It's like Eric Butterworth said, you can pray for milk, but God's not going to deliver milk to your door. You have to go to the store and get it. Unless you have a delivery person who's going to bring it to your door. But still, somebody has to do something to get it to you. So we do have to do things. But I think we lost sight somewhere along the way, or maybe we didn't lose sight of it, but we lost the teaching in some way. That it's not about the stuff out here. It's about what's within me. And that is the source. And that our good does not come to us, it comes through us. It comes through us. How does it come through us? It comes through us really by what we teach, which is the law of attraction. That like attracts like. It's exactly what we've been teaching. But instead of focusing on out here, we focus on within, focusing on connecting with that divine source that is within us, that really is the source of the frequency, the vibration that we want to put out into the world so that we attract what is in alignment, which is in vibrational resonance with our divine self. Right? So what gets in the way? I mean, think of it like you and I are the center of our universe. You get that? We are each the center of our universe. And whatever it is, and my consciousness is the center of who I am. So my consciousness is really the center of my universe. So my consciousness is all the stuff that is in my consciousness. And my essence, my true nature, my Christ nature, the divine life that I am, is at the very center of that. And yet, the other stuff that I've taken on creates this vibration around me. And it draws me to it, to stuff that's resonating with it, right? Or it draws it to me. That's the law of attraction at work, right? Cause and effect. The cause is the frequency. The effect is what I draw into my experience. So what I'm aware of is that I'm drawing into my experience all this stuff that is a reflection of who I think I am, but truly is who I'm not. Does that make sense? So we're creating, I think, we're living prosperity at the level at which we are willing and able to accept and believe and live who we truly are. Does that make sense? Who are you really? And so in order for us to do that, I think it's like, it's all energy. It's just all energy. Really, where does a memory even exist? Where does the past exist? Where does it live? It lives in our energy field. It just lives in our energy field. And we continue to attract based on what's in our energy field. And so if we want to attract something different, we must really be willing to accept who we truly are and release the idea about who we're not. How do we do that? It sounds easy, doesn't it? Just let it go. No big deal. Just let it go. And what I want to say is that what we're teaching about prosperity I want to be clear that we're not teaching magical thinking. That what we're teaching is changing our consciousness. What we're teaching is transformational consciousness. And it's through transforming our consciousness that we attract and create something different in our lives. And if we're teaching it from any other perspective, then we need to stop. Because what came to me this week as well is that, and I'm just going to be really honest with you here. I always try to be, but came to me is that it's interesting. Now I'm doubting whether I should say this or not. It's interesting. It's interesting to me that we, as a church, chose to teach a prosperity class at a time when we need more money. When the church needs more money. So are we teaching a prosperity class so that we can get more money? That's part of that stuff that why people are nuns and duns. Right? That's why people are nuns and duns. It's all about us. And let me say this, I'm not saying that we are. Because again, if that is the reason, then we shouldn't be doing it. If we are teaching anything for a purpose other than assisting us all in our own transformation of consciousness, then we need to stop. Because we are about transforming consciousness. And through the transformation of consciousness, we then attract and create what is in alignment with our divine nature. Right? And if that results in this spiritual center having an influx of money, great. But more importantly, it is about, and I hope to God, it is more about you than it is about us. Because you are us. Right? We are here together. Now, please hear me. I'm not saying that our teaching is wrong or that we are teaching something that's not true. I don't believe that. I believe what we teach is true. What's more important to me is why we're teaching it. Why are we teaching it? We're teaching it, hopefully, to transform consciousness one person at a time so that the consciousness of humanity can be transformed. And so that humanity can draw into and create a world that works for everybody, that supports abundance and prosperity for everybody. That is what I think our focus needs to be. And we only can do that when we know the truth of our being, our divinity, our divine self. And what I believe about that is many things, But what's coming to me in the moment is, if we are teaching that, if that is what we are about, and we live that truth, that is how we are going to fill these seats. That is how we are going to attract the nuns and the duns. When we can be honest about what we are about, is transformation of consciousness. And transformation of consciousness so that we can create a world that reflects our divine nature. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It is ours to do, to bring forth that kingdom of heaven here on the earth, one person at a time. And that truly is a world that supports the good of every being, supports the good of the planet, the environment, creatures, humans, all life. That is our vision. That is the vision I hold for us and for the world. That we are a part of that. Changing lives, one person at a time, and then changing the world. So I have no idea where I'm going with that, but maybe that's enough. Maybe that's enough. Maybe that's enough. So, I hope and pray that we together are creating a foundation for a community that truly lives from that consciousness as much as we possibly can, and to live with integrity and honesty and commitment and transparency and vulnerability and compassion and empathy and understanding for each other and for all beings. I think the only way, well, again, Jesus said, they shall know you are my people. They shall know you by your fruits. Right? They shall know you by what you example, by what you live. So what are we living? And this is a great place for us to practice. A spiritual community. To practice and to learn and to grow together. Create something. Because it's about consciousness. And that consciousness will draw into itself all those who want to be a part of a consciousness that we are creating. We want more people. We want people who come into this consciousness and resonate with the consciousness that we're creating. We want more money. We create a consciousness that draws in to our abundance, that we are the vessel through which it flows. It doesn't come to us, it comes through us.